Good evening, citizens. My name is Ban Shattersong, former captain of the Bloody Hands Mercenary Company, and today we're going to be talking in more detail about one last song, which is the Wind of War for the Broceliande adventure involving Forlorn Spawn onion soup. And in this particular episode, two dear friends of mine, Finn and Merlyn. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Dear, dear friends, we met today, basically.
You've literally saved my life.
That's the only time I've interacted with you, is healing your legs.
Yeah, and I feel like that is what
There we go.
a
Dear, dear
segue.
friendship.
Yeah, what a segue into being a podcast guest. So yeah, life life works in weird, mysterious ways. But the aim for today's episode, first of all, this is a continuation of the previous episode talking about the vines. Go
Oh,
and
it's been
listen to
so long
that.
since we talked about that. Oh
Oh, it's been
no.
so
Well, I've
long.
forgotten what we said, to be honest.
Yeah, he's talking about us healing him. I put you in danger just as many times as I fixed you up personally.
Is that deliberate or?
Yeah. You're my favorite patient.
Mixed emotions on that response. But anyway, the aim for this episode is to talk about the Wind of War, but we have a twist. First of all, this is kind of a cringe reaction video esque copycat, because I want to talk about the options and froth about it. Finn, I know you've read it, but
Yeah.
what makes this episode extra spicy is that Merlin has not. So we get a
I
live reaction.
looked at the text block and it said nothing to my brain. So I'm going to have it all explained to me now.
Yeah, we're gonna do the TLDR version of
Yeah.
what took me like when I did my little like initial reading of it and actually recording that as another separate episode. It took me like 45 minutes to go through. It's a genuinely long Wind of War. There's a lot going on.
It took me like
I
3
think
hours to
that's,
read.
yeah, I think that's why I struggled, because I gave it about 30 seconds and went, nah, not happening.
Yeah, not today. It's got how many subchapters? What, 15, 14?
I've never read a Winds of War all the way to the bottom,
It is a
ever.
challenge. A good challenge though. If anyone from the writing team is listening, I do enjoy
Yeah,
reading
don't
them.
be
Yeah,
put
no,
off.
like
Yeah,
yeah,
please
the red
publish
incredible.
more.
My attention span is bad, not you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just a wisdom check, I guess. It's just testing my
Oh,
virtues. But
I
anyway,
rolled a 4.
um, how to? All right, I'll just dive straight in. So, the premise. Do stop me if I'm making this like too dumbed down or like going too far back, Merlin. But basically, last summit we got approached by a Eternal who offered us a boon, which was a onion soup that was made in a literal magic
Is
cauldron.
that Rhianos or is it a different one?
Bang on, exactly the one.
Yeah, I know things.
Boom, +1. Oh, let's make it a game show. That's +1 point to Merlin.
Wait, that was a question? No.
Yeah.
I mean, I forgot, so
The
yeah,
game
fair
show
enough.
is finding the questions and then answering them correctly.
Ah.
Yeah.
I only know that because I'm going to the player event at the end of the month, and that's involving that one.
Oh
Oh.
yeah, you need to
The
know
only
then.
reason.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
This. Oh
yeah, there's a revision.
gosh, yeah. So, Eternal has helped us out by giving us this magic cauldron that makes onion soup that makes us, the dear citizens of the Empire, immune to the Forlorn Spawn miasma, dying by non-mundane means because of said miasma, and has also, I don't think it makes us less noticeable to the Forlorn or anything, but it just gives us a fighting chance to survive delving into the depths of Broceliande. So that's where we sit. Uh, the vast majority of people going in are military units, so with people's personal resource. However, a lot of people, especially in Navarre, got enchantments on it. I own a forest, but it's now 4 shadowy spectres that have also gone to Broceliande, which is kind of cool. I kind of imagine them like clowns, but like without heads. So there's just like
Terrifying.
this,
I love it.
yeah, but with like scythes
Yeah.
and stuff, proper like old school Yu-Gi-Oh
Did you
zombie
wait?
clown.
What did you say? Clouds without heads?
Clowns.
Okay, I was like, clouds
Yeah.
don't have heads, and I'm very confused.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, it's when I look for the animals in the sky. But clowns without heads in the woods.
This is very important to the Winds of War, by the way. I hope you're listening.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
100%
the
relevant.
clowns. Like
This
the
will be
whole
on the test.
Yeah.
the whole time we're talking about all the terrors that lie ahead, you got to remember there's also headless clowns.
Just helping us out. Um, every single nation came along, apart from the Imperial Orcs, because they were busy dealing with slavers. The Freeborn are in our list of cool kids because one person decided to join us. Exactly one. And the
Absolute
whole
maverick.
the whole point was to get 55,000 military strength coming here, which is 11 armies worth of mercenaries. So it's a lot, and I think PD laid some very tempting rewards at our feet, and I don't think they expected us to actually meet it. And we did. We absolutely smashed it. Travid, the senator for Thorunin, got the Great Forest Orcs to send an army and support us. All of Navarre, a lot of Dawn, Wintermark, Highguard, and the like as well have also chipped in very heavily in terms of either. I think the Grey Pilgrims from Highguard were big, and then Dawn have just sent all of their questing knights in because the prize here is seeing the heart of the Valorn in Broceliande, a sight no one has
Mhm.
seen for the last 1,000 years, something like that. It's been a while. It's been longer than I've been alive at the bare minimum.
Nearly.
Yeah, nearly. But
Nearly just about. I'm kind of
emotionally
old.
alive is a different question. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's what the hell we're doing. The first step is going into the woods. So there are Druge in there, but not many. They get cleared out and killed, which is nice. There's a comment around the Druge being typically they run away from Imperial armies, and they can because they're good at being tricksy. However, because we're also just loads and loads of individual bands, we actually catch them with their pants down and we fuck them up. So it's a good result. The heirs of Terranale, or Terunial, or however people like to say it, are officially wiped out. I think technically a couple of them escape, but
I
this
think
is
it's one.
yeah, it's something
Yeah,
really
like
low.
it's one guy.
Yeah,
Just enough for PD to bring them back if they need to.
precisely. Cackling as he runs off further east towards the Druge, which is a terrible idea. But yeah, he survives, but pretty much confirm. I mean, what am I saying? Confirming that the heirs of Taruniel are no longer a plot point, and they're done. They're dead. They're gone.
No more
Um,
bows for the
Yeah.
venom
Rest and
for
rip.
the Valorn.
indeed, no
Ugh.
more kit, no more schemes, no more coaxing the Valorn into certain territories. They're all just dead. Official bye bye, which is a shame because they were kind of cool.
Yeah, oh, I love fighting them, but oh my goodness, thank you,
Yeah.
thanks. Good job.
And then, after that's cleared out, the actual expedition goes into the Green Woods, and there are three separate prongs of this push. The first is towards a weirwood grove, and they get there, they kill some monsters, and they are sitting pretty in a weirwood grove, which the Forlorn hate. And I'll cover the options later on, but prong one is into the weirwood. Prong
Like the
two,
default resource that people are getting, isn't it?
Yeah.
correct, yeah,
Hmm.
2 points to Merlyn.
Oh
You're getting wrecked, Finn. But
no.
option two is the a garden, essentially visiting Nurgle's gardens for any Warhammer fans out there. Visiting the gardens of chaos or the gardens of
Gardens of
abominations.
Abomination.
That's it. Which
Jinx.
are bearing.
No, wait, no, you have to do a podcast. Chris.
I I play by the rules, man. Play by the rules. Um, there are some spicy fruit that have been found there alongside other things, and the description here is that people who come out don't really know how to talk about it. So there's something horrible going on inside there.
Hmm.
And then finally, a party pushes towards the actual heart of the Valorn itself. And the way the hang on, all that remains, blah 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 blah, because the actual line is quite good. Here we go. The rest of the city, so they get to the heart of Taruniel, And I don't know why I'm saying Terrenial, because I've always said Terranail when I'm on my own, and it's around other people I feel
Yeah, it's peer
peer
pressure. Yeah.
pressured. Yeah. But anyway, but what they see there, what they saw there, is not for me to tell. Let them speak themselves if they wish. For now, my story of heroes and horrors is done. And that's how the fucking article ends. So, option three there, the third prong, is seeing the Forlorn Heart.
Yeah, so they get like RP for their reward. They
Correct.
get to tell everyone.
3 points. Sorry, Finn. It's not going well for you.
This is rigged.
Yeah. I mean, it's not rigged, but I feel like it's unfair
Yeah,
at this
no,
point. This is bullying.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm not playing the game. I'm not.
Oh, I just lost the game. Oh no. Oh, damn it.
Just
But anyway,
simply don't play.
yeah. So option one, the Weirwood, you get a Wayne. Like Merlyn said, that's the standard one if you don't choose to submit. Option
Mhm.
two, Abomination Garden, you get 5 Chaos Fruits. They have not said
And
what
a
the hell
lot
they
of
are.
trauma, a lot of trauma roleplay. No, I think they have. I think there's a little paragraph somewhere that says some say they do this, this, and this. I think the three that
So
they revealed is sorry, you were gonna say?
no, no, yeah. So that's 1 point to Finn.
Yeah.
That is correct. Oh,
Is
you got it. You're
one of
in.
them yes, yeah, baby. Yeah, one of them I think is just like a really good heal. One of them I think gives you more endurance, so more like, temporary hits. And then the other
Ooh.
one I think boosts your spring law. I think that's the
Yeah,
three that they've
that's the
kind
one.
of
That's
half
the ones
teased
they've
at.
alluded to so far.
Yeah. I hope there's more.
But they're kind of vague. So I'm intrigued to
Mm.
see what those are going to be mechanically, but also what the side effects are going to be. Because there's no
Yeah.
way that eating fruit is from the heart of
Don't
the
eat
Forlorn.
from Papa Nurgle's garden.
Exactly.
You don't do
It
it.
does say Valorn, the Valorn magic inside, the fragmented Valorn magic.
Yeah, it's such a warning. But that's option two is because everyone will
There's
get
always
one
the
of these.
question of what happens if a Briar does it as well. Like if a normal
Oh,
person does it versus a Briar, because we've had a lot of
Mm.
things that affect people differently.
oh, that is such a good point. Haven't even thought about that. Plus 1 point to me for the realization of a new plot arc.
Wait,
Fantastic.
wait. Oh yeah, we'll feed it to you. Yeah, okay, so I'm lineage, so and not a Briar, so like we'll see what it does. You're
I'm
unlineaged,
completely normal.
so
Boring.
mundane.
I'm basic.
I'm normal.
All right, the pair of you are mundane, so we'll test both of you
Standard
for,
issue.
Hmm.
and then we'll find a Briar as well, just see what happens.
Oh, that's gonna be so much fun. And then final option is you get a player pack description of what you saw. And I wonder if they're going to be
I'd go
different.
for that one. They've got to be, because otherwise it wouldn't feel very fair, would it? If like one person said it and everyone, then like you went to go and try and tell people this cool thing at the forge, and like, yeah, we know, we've told like 5 people have told us now.
It's on the board. Look at it. It's just pinned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
there
what?
might be like a few different ones so that people have to piece it together.
Yeah,
Mm.
I'd like there to be a little variation, just so like, oh, you saw this, but you saw this.
Oh yeah.
Like
What
one
if
random
there's
player
some
gets to
red
be
herrings in
you were
there as
first.
well?
Yeah,
Each and
or
every one of
some
them
that
says, you were
some
first
that
in the
can
queue. You were 19th in the queue.
some that completely just counteract each other, and it's like, well, that can't be true, and it's like, it is the truth. So everyone's completely sure they've got the right, and then none of them are right.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, and the reveal is no one actually saw the heart. We were way off. We only met like
It was just a different miasma,
10,000.
and everyone was confused.
It's the wrong town. It was just a particularly large rose bush or something. But I hadn't even considered that. And that would be really cool because we've had the discussion internally of right, guys, do we talk about what we're going to pick or do we not talk about it?
Mm.
So we don't influence the people who do go to the heart because that's what their character would do. So we haven't really discussed it yet, and that's exactly why I've got this episode to talk about it because I need to talk to somebody about it without affecting their game. But
Mm.
And it's all been
I've already made my choice. I've
submitted now,
emailed
hasn't
in.
it?
same, yeah.
Oh, has the deadline already been?
I don't know. Someone on the Facebook group was being like, "Oh, have I run out of time?" I
Oh,
guess Weirwood is fine, which is why I knew that Weirwood was the standard one.
I see.
I
Oh,
think it's Wednesday the 12th of April.
oh
Oh,
well,
okay.
yeah, they
Cool.
can change what they want. They're just being dramatic.
Oh well, there we
Yeah,
go.
it's next month. But yeah, they've got time. But yeah, a Wayne of Weirwood. I mean, what 5 thrones they typically go for? Going to be a lot less come E1, but still that is a lot of cash to pass up. which is my internal logic is that all of these are worth roughly the same. The seeing the Forlorn Heart is kind of emotionally worth a lot, but 5 Chaos Fruits versus a Wane of Weirwoods, I would like to assume that each Chaos Fruit is worth about a throne in terms of its effect.
I don't want to. Well, actually, but I believe every single person gets one fruit for free.
You do, yep. Finn,
Yeah.
2 points for
Okay.
Finn.
Ah, yes, I'm winning.
You are not, but
Oh.
yeah, it's 2-3. But yeah, no, we the actual standard rewards. So I don't know if either of you saw over the last, I don't know, month or so, people asking in the Navarre Discord about, hey, has everyone
Have
got
you had the
their,
soup?
yeah, have you had the soup, but also have you
Mm.
had your inventories updated? And what's happened so far is the people who went in, the standard rewards were going to be like sort of 4 ingots of forest resources like dragon bone, that kind of thing, and then 6 herbs. But depending on how buffed your military unit was, you'd get proportionally more, and that's the baseline. But what they haven't added on yet are the additional rewards based on how many people go. So I think it was like 10k, 20k, 30k, 40k, so on and so forth.
All right. Yeah.
And for each level that we got, oh, so that was it. For each 5,000 strength you get, there's additional herb and
We've got stretch
resource.
goals. Is that what you're telling me?
We had stretch goals and we
Oh,
smashed all of them. So at
So
the
hard that they rewrote some of the goals, right?
yeah, they're trying to get people to see the hearts just so they don't have to give out so many fruits or wains of weirwood. But they effectively, if you went in with a level 1 unit, you're going to get 15 ingots and 17 herbs in your player pack.
ooh.
Yeah. And for people who did Merciless Wrath of the Reaver and stuff like that, they'll have proportionally more. So everyone who went on this is going to be absolutely minted at E1.
And I think at E4, there were people aiming to break the record of chain casts of Merciless Wrath of the Reavers. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, something like nearly 100 casts, 90 casts or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
that sounds about right.
So yeah, that's the results basically. That's what people are going to get. There are a few role-playing effects as well. So I think if you're normal or unlineaged,
Basic.
yeah, basic. If you're
Mundane.
beige, then you can become a briar, especially those who
Oh.
explored the Garden of Abomination and picked up the tender fruits of temptation.
There's got to be a thing with
Hint,
briars
hint.
and fruits then.
Yeah. If you already have the briar lineage, you can add flowers to your Fizz rep.
That didn't go well last time.
When
Yeah,
you
that
say
was a whole. Mm,
when you say didn't go well, are we talking icy or OC?
I think I see.
Wasn't it sending people mad?
It was yeah,
Last
like
time there was a
people
thing where
heard
people were
dreams
having
from
flowers in
Bjornagra.
their hair,
Mm.
something.
Yeah,
Or the
like flowers grow
briars,
out their
and then they
bark,
went
and
mad.
they heard, yeah, they had like whispers from the Green Mother and stuff. But then I don't know what happened, but a few events later, it was then, all right, now it's all fine, and whoever did the plot strings they need to do, they did it, and now you can just have flowers if you want.
Yeah.
So like, I think there's still like a level of suspicion, maybe. I'm not sure.
Well, all of the previous flower side happened before the brief change, didn't it? For briars? Well, for
Oh,
Navari briars.
not a
Or was
clue.
that after? Effectively, where before it was pretty much mandatory. If you're Navarre, you distrust and dislike briars. But then PD
Oh
shifted
yeah.
that to be, hey, it's optional and it's entirely, in keeping with Navarre's culture, but it's not mandatory anymore,
Hmm.
which
I
basically
didn't
killed
realize they
off
changed
that
that, honestly.
sentiment overnight. And I wonder how people are going to react to this because you can't react with rage as you usually would, and maybe
I react to
suspicion.
everything with rage.
Nah, you're charming, Finn.
Yeah, I'll just
I've never
everything.
seen you
Everything
yell.
I'll yeah.
I've never heard you really raise your voice actually. You've raised it
Really,
a
not even
bit,
at
but
not even at songs and stories.
barely. You just have such
Even
a.
when people are interrupting.
Especially when there's people interrupting songs and stories and clapping and stuff.
I'm gonna admit something dark and secret here. That I've
Never
stopped.
been to Songs and Stories.
I've stopped attending.
Oh,
6 years of it. I've had enough. I've had.
I
The
will
end.
honestly,
admit,
fair
sometimes
enough.
it does get a bit samey.
I show up, I do my one song, I listen to a couple more. Then when it gets to one I've heard before, that's when I'm like, okay, I got other things to do. Love songs and stories never change, but I've heard it now, and I like performing.
Yeah. Turning up at the end is awesome when everyone stood up and was
Mhm.
singing West Wall. That's pretty good.
Mm.
But
Sorry, we were.
otherwise, I'm too busy. Well, I mean, Ban was too busy stealing people's milk money, and last time I was too busy trying to remember who the fuck I was. So
You're welcome.
valid excuses. Yeah. The final role-playing effect actually was you are filled with the vigor of youth. Nothing seems impossible to you, and the more risky an endeavor, the more it excites you. And if you continue to roleplay like that, you will get an additional temporary hero point.
I presume it's for people who already have hero, though, right? Like, I wouldn't mind one hero point, which I could use for roleplay effects.
So it says it doesn't increase your normal maximum, and once spent, it's gone. But it's the
Oh, there you go then.
but it's an extra one, so it's the first one spent. I would argue if you have 0 hero points, you get 1 because you're eating
And
the
you-
soup. It makes you heroic.
Yeah, but you don't have any. You need the hero to get any of the other skills. So the only thing you
Correct.
can
Yeah.
use it for is
You don't know what to do
roleplay.
with it, but you're feeling pretty damn
God,
heroic.
I feel so heroic, and I just want to get it out there. But
It
Yeah.
would be good if you could give it to someone else. You'd be like, guys, let me just give you a pep talk real quick. And then someone else who's a hero can actually use it, but
well, maybe one of the fruits gives hero points.
maybe.
Lets you know Venom like you allows you to call Venom like you know it, and then use your hero point to call Venom.
That's
As you
cool,
like spit on your sword or something, and then slash and swashbuckle towards the enemy.
I'm just that gross.
Yeah. And cover it up. But yeah, that's the TLDR of that Wind of War.
Well, that's one of the more interesting ones I've heard. But I think that's just because I'm conceited and I can see how it affects the people around me, as opposed to some of the others, which just seem very far away.
Yeah, the other one was effectively PD removing slavery from the game to an extent. With the was it? It's not Drakenfest because that's another LARP. It was Draken's Reach, Draken's Grab. Damn it! I should know. Did a whole episode on it. But anyway, the Empire raided a slave hotspot, a HQ, if you will, and destroyed it. So now all of the slave-dependent nations like the Grendel and Yarm are struggling, and we'll have to. I think the quote was, "We'll have to seriously reconsider how they're going to move forwards because there's no
that
fresh
rules.
supply of."
So we're ending
slaves.
slavery not by like ethics, but by like supply and demand.
Yeah, there's no more
We've
supply.
destroyed
we
all the
sure-
slaves. There's none more for anyone.
Are we sure they're
Job
not just
done.
gonna like move to other nations and enslave them though?
Whoa,
Because it feels like
hold
I
on.
know game-wise that might not happen, but I feel like logically, if you just got rid of loads of slaves, they'd just make more slaves.
Yeah, I mean the Grendel peace treaty ends next year, so they
Oh,
might
if only
just
Ban was
start
here.
emptying for Oz. Oh God.
Well,
Well,
that's fine. That's not what we're talking about today.
that's why a different
It's
episode.
so over there though. It's like as a wind, it's just so over there. Like that's huge. That's great. That's amazing. But this is the one that I did and very much interests my nation. So
Yeah,
give
but
me
that's what I
this.
mean. Like this one is like, oh, I know a lot of people this will definitely affect, like mechanically, and it will affect all of us roleplay wise. Whereas some of the others, I'm like, I don't even know what that is. So cool.
Yeah, wait, but it does feel weird. Like it's ending slavery worldwide. It's like that is a huge thing that will be
But
talked
yeah,
about.
but what does the fruit
But
do?
we're overshadowing it with
What is the jelly bean?
what flavor?
What happens if a briar eats it?
See, we're doing it already. We're already like, oh, let's feed it to a briar. Let's feed it to 10 briars and 10 regular people, and
Let's
10
do it.
non-lineage people, and then see what happens. And it's for scientific accuracy. Oh my, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
As someone with a military unit, I am going for the brute option.
Yeah.
Like immediately, I was like, I'm emailing in. I'm just like, I would love to see a heart. I would love for my character to see the heart. But I would also love to be curious and pick up these weird fruits and do this, and also the flavor of each thing.
Oh yeah.
I love the abominations and stuff. I know the Weirwood Grove has some really specific like boss battles, basically. Like
Was that the faces one?
no, I can't
Or was
remember
that
which one the faces
the?
was. Or did everyone fight the face? I can't remember. I need to read it again. Whoops.
Yeah.
We should but no, the Weirwood Grove had this like line of like boss battles that included not quite a shiny crab, but not a shimmering cat, or something like that. It's like,
Yeah.
what does that
What?
mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
So like that was the thing that tends me towards Weirwood, which although
Is
it's
it that
you know,
weird sphinx thing that's like half scorpion, half feline?
oh maybe, or like a manticore.
Hmm.
Maybe, but like shimmering crab. Like, what are you talking about? What is that? But
A warforged manticore.
ooh, but yeah, it was really interesting, and I was like, oh, this is the exact kind of thing. Like when I made Riffle, the very first thing I had in mind was like, oh, monster, like a Steve Irwin type, but in Deep Tharunin, who like wrestles bark alligators and shit like that.
I
Like,
was tempted to make a character like that, and I was like, I'm gonna have a whole like field guide, and I'm gonna be like, they're a softie, really. Gets impaled. I must have startled him.
oh yeah, but then you start playing the game and your character ends up something completely different. But I did see all these like abominations, like, oh, that's interesting. But the Gardens of Abomination did very explicitly say you just come across all sorts of abominations, all kinds of terrors. You will not be the same person when you come out. And like I said in the last episode, I love angst in roleplay, and like, oh, just mess me up. I want to come out the other side of this. Just
I can take it.
I've seen some things, man. You know, like, yeah, let's do it.
What would your what's the best way to phrase this? Right. So, because Merlyn, you didn't have a military unit, did you? That went.
I don't. I have a mana sight.
Ah,
So many people trying to convince me to get the enchantment, but it just didn't work out to make that much sense. And also, my mana sight's kind of one of those things. It doesn't really require me to be there RP wise. So RP wise, I did go to like I was with Azala's dance. Like that's what a lot of the healers like. It's what me, Illy, and Gweel have said for most of that with Azala's dance. But changing it didn't make any sense. And then everyone was like, "Oh well, you should because this, and this." But my logic is next event, all these military units are going to need rituals, and I can give people mana. So I'm helping in my own way.
yeah, literally zero respect for people who tell others what makes sense for their character. And the question I was going to ask was, if you could design a monster that you faced, or I guess in Finn's case, what was the monster that you faced out there in the Greenwood?
Oh,
Because for me it would be a big worm, but like a just a standard earthworm.
like a lindworm.
I think it's just like a gigantic tapeworm takes me, and I'm like, no.
That's what's traumatizing. So, yeah, no, I am such a sucker for body horror. I love the tree, that terrible. I might genuinely like try to do some fan art of it or something. Like, you know, with the severed head screaming the tenants of the Ezetruna, like, oh, terrifying. I love it. That's amazing. I was kind of thinking of what's something like horrifying but also a little silly that I can drop on you. Like, oh my god, Lindia, yeah, I thought this like this disgusting bug with like 10 cockroach legs and like this long slimy worm body, but its head was exactly your head. It had your face.
Lindia the lindworm.
just just like something like that. Like, oh, it just kept trying to call me mum.
But like Mona, mom.
And it was your
Mommy.
face. So I might just, I don't know, something. But you know, like just gnarly, like, you know, warped faces. Like, this used to be a person, but like is so far removed, and you know, limbs coming out where they shouldn't. Like, just disgusting stuff. Like I'm all here for it. So that's why I was like, okay, the role, like, oh, I'd love to see a heart, but the atrocities. That's what I'm here for.
Mhm. So I just
Uh,
checked on the section with the screaming head tree
Mm.
worm thing.
It's the weirwood, isn't it?
It is the Heirs of Terranale section. So
Yeah.
that is everyone took part in that.
Oh yeah, there you go then.
Yeah, so you can do both.
Yeah, cool.
And for you, Merlyn, what is your
Um,
deepest nightmare?
some sort of weird mycelium doppelgangers. Sort of.
Ooh.
So the idea of all of them being like connected under the earth, like mycelium, and making like almost perfect replicas. So like I could turn around and see Illy there, and
Oh
like he'd be
fuck.
almost
Yep.
perfect, except he'd have like reptilian eyelids or something. And they're all connected. The idea that like there's in the Terry Pratchett book I read, there's this thing called a drome, and it's almost they're in like this fey land, but the world sort of loads in like a video game. So when it's far away, if you walk too quickly, the trees can't like render quick enough, so they're like weirdly smooth, and so you can kind of tell everything's wrong. So the idea that this whole forest would be the creature, and everything that's created is like it will like lure you in with like the voice of, I don't know, your like dead vine partner like calling you for help or
Oh.
something like that. Um, so yeah, it can speak in your voice. It can look just like you. The idea that like maybe if it was in the dark, you'd end up killing your own allies, stuff like that. Because then all of the things that are most important to Aisha, all of her loyalty, all of her, like knowing resolutely there are these 3, 4 people that she will trust with her life, and suddenly being entirely alone, and like maybe there'd be a time where she sees Illy or Griel or Naren go down and she doesn't run for them because she thinks it's
Oh.
the forest playing tricks on her. And
Terrible.
then she turns around to grab the hand of who she thinks is the real Illy, and she looks down and he's missing a finger, and she's like, I've just killed the wrong one.
Teacher, I want to change my answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be mine
Oh,
personally.
that's so
And
good.
also just like that uncanny valley of like you run and you put your hand down on a tree and the tree has a heartbeat and you're like, what? That for me, that would be it.
So good. Like I kind of want to just cram on as much as I can. Like
Yeah, I'm on board. No, I want to see. I'm playing this scene out in my head. This is
that's
great.
horrifying. Yeah,
This is a player event waiting to happen.
when
You know,
when oh yeah,
because that's the
yeah, when
easiest thing to crew. You're Illy, but Illy's not playing Illy. It's Paddy's just crewing, and he's
oh
there
you give everyone like a card that says whether or not you are your character
for that day, and it swaps
for
over.
that.
Or you'd put like a pager in someone's pocket and they play their own character right up until it goes off, and then they switch into their doppelganger. So
Oh,
it's
yep.
completely random. Nobody, even you, don't know when it's going to happen until you feel that like slight buzz in your pocket, and suddenly you're on the other side and you're trying to kill everyone,
You're hired.
or you're trying to convince them that you're that person, or you're trying to pull them deeper into the forest. You know, the idea that like you might hear like, I don't know, like if you had a kid or something, like you'd hear your own like daughter's voice coming from 15 different directions in the forest, and you just have to pick one. I like, no,
That's always heebie-jeebies territory.
Yeah.
The voices of your loved ones not coming from your loved ones.
But the thing is, if you know that they're not there, it's kind of okay. But the fact that it would be the person that is right next to you, do you know what I mean? It's almost like when you watch those videos of people doing the escape rooms and they go to run away with like their partner and they accidentally grab the horror actor's hand. It would be like that. You'd be like, we need to get out. You grab the hand, you pull them to run, and you look over and the arms like merging into the tree trunk next to you, and you're like,
Oh yeah.
But it's squeezing your hand back. Ooh,
and now you can't let go. And there's like this toxin seeping into your arms, and then you can't move, and then you're paralyzed.
Yeah,
Like stuff
so
like
good.
that.
So good.
Sentient forest.
Danger geography. I mean, there you go.
And
that
at
has.
night.
Oh no!
Yeah,
When you can't
flaming
even
torches.
see it all.
Yeah. So it's really hard to keep track of each other anyway.
No, it wouldn't. For me though, it would have to be the fact that it's natural. That's the thing. Like it's not even.
Yeah,
It
just
wouldn't
thick
be like
fog.
a bastardization of nature. It would just be, this is a place that no human should have ever gone.
Mm.
And normally when there's no like completely sentient, like humanoid creatures there. It's just normal. Like there's no real animals left. They're all just, when the mycelium got there, it saw the deer, and so now there are deers, but none of them are deers anymore. They are just what they think a deer should be. So everything's just a little bit off. And then like when you kill it, you suddenly just look around and like everything that's like the forest sounded normal, but now it's dead silent. There's like nothing is living here. But
Oh,
for me, the best lighting would be like bioluminescent pulsing through the ground of
Ooh,
the
yeah.
mycelium. So like the only things you can hear is the mycelium. The only things you can see, like all you can hear is the forest. All you can see is the forest. All the light comes from the forest. There's no moonlight coming through the trees. Like everything
Yeah.
that's around you are in the monster. Do you know what I mean? Like it's the whole forest. It's not something that's tracking you through a forest. You can't hide behind the bushes because the bushes can like taste you on their
It's
leaves.
tracking you through its own teeth. Like,
Yeah.
bleh.
the bush licks you,
Ugh.
tastes you, and then it moans. You're like, nope, nope,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
out.
wrong game. I'm out of here
There's
now.
just that idea of like you're watching your friend bleed out and you can't heal them, like you're like cleaved on the floor or whatever.
Mm.
You're watching them bleed out and then slowly their blood just pools, coagulates, and stands up. And they're not down
Mm.
anymore, but it's also not them anymore. That kind of thing.
And
They've
then
got
they
like an
start
extra hand,
laughing.
but on the wrong, on the they got two hands on the left arm and none on the right or something.
Even just tiny things like they pick up their sword. Wait,
Oh,
they
and
weren't right-handed before.
Oh,
then
Just
the
tiny little things, because
very
it would really push how well you know your closest friends as well.
the
oh
other thing
God,
that
yeah.
was terrifying shit when the face is entirely neutral. They're barely opening their mouths, but it is the most pained and emotional screaming you can imagine. But like their face isn't selling it, but their voice, oh
It's
yes.
like in Doctor Who when Prisoner Zero is trying to be the dog and the man at the same time, but it's got the
Yeah,
voices wrong. So the
I
man's
did see that
barking and
one.
the dog talks. It would be stuff like that, like, you know,
Oh, too many mouths. I can't keep track of them all. Haha.
yeah, like it's like there'd just be those moments where everything just goes wrong and suddenly like because it would take a while to realize what was going on. Like it wouldn't start all at once. So you'd be deep in the forest and suddenly you'd be like, hang on a second. Like how long was it since the person next to me took their last breath? And you realize like they've been moving their shoulders, but they haven't been breathing for the last 3 hours. Like what's going
Oh,
on?
you've just been
And you've also
watched.
got to yeah.
Oh, and also if you're hunting deer or something, as your example, you
Hmm.
shoot them down, you start to butcher them, and you realise the flesh is not right.
Yeah, like the
Oh no,
organs are in the wrong place.
all
Yeah.
pulsating and because well the other thing you got to remember, of course, is that it's not just the characters going in; it's their military units. There are like
Yeah,
dozens to hundreds of people in your military
yeah.
unit who you may or may not know well, and stuff like who are all suffering the same fate. And of course, you can choose for your military unit to
Be
like
wiped
get
out.
brutally slaughtered. Yeah, so
And
like
the thing is, like, they could turn on you as well. Like, you give the order, and they all just like slowly turn to their head, and that could be the first time you realize that the food that you've been feeding them for the last 2 weeks has done that like fungus zombie thing in their brain, that they all turn to you in sync, and it's
mm,
suddenly a hive mind, and it's only you left. Your whole military unit's gone, but you've been with them for weeks, but they've been dead for months.
Oh,
oh
That
yeah,
yep.
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yep.
We need
Anyway,
to
yeah,
make this a
that's
no,
my
no, no. We're
answer.
gonna player
yep.
event. That is a
No.
player event. Especially with the pages. Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Mm. Oh no, we could like definitely coordinate with like the crew to all know a specific like trigger or something to then all be like, all right, now we're all gonna turn our heads and be
Mhm.
creepy and stuff.
But it's almost like a
And like,
self-crewing event. I
yeah,
mean, you'd have
yeah.
the big badge. You'd have the heart of the mycelium, or I mean, the
You'd have
heart
a
in air
few
quotes.
people,
Yeah.
but the thing that's the most scary about it is like not knowing at any point when it could happen.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's not a case of,
Oh,
oh
but
yeah, well I'm fighting with Illy for these 2 hours, and then he's got a crewing slot, and maybe he'll be wearing a mask when he comes at me. Like no, it's
still
you
his
fight
face.
absolutely tooth and nail to keep your friends alive, and then that buzz happens in your pocket, and you're going to fight absolutely tooth and nail to make the next 3 hours the most horrific 3 hours in their life.
Oh,
Hmm.
his crewing slot started 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it
like
would just be little things like everybody would be able to decide what their own tells were and how dramatic they were. Like some people might go straight psycho. Like if your character's naturally an aggressive, impulsive person, then maybe you turn and suddenly you're like going like full clicker zombie and making weird noises and like jerky body movements and like
Yeah.
going for them. Other people might just subtly like move their sword to the other hand, or
It's like
like just go like weirdly slack or something. Like, do you know what I mean? Just like little things.
yeah, but
Because
also the
then
idea
people
of
so quickly would be trying to work out tests. Like, you know, when people are coming back possessed and they were like, what color is this? And it didn't work because they were asking people, A, the colors of things they'd already seen, or they were asking the same person and people were just copying their answers. It would be stuff like that. You'd be like, when was the first time you met me? And they'd think they were safe doing those tests for like the first like hour of the encounter. And then some kind of weird
oh, you're
mycelium herald would be, and we
describing the
know what
thing.
you know. And their memories are our memories. And in some way, we always were you. And it's just like, wait, they know the answers to all these questions? All these
Oh, yeah.
checks were pointless.
Do a little
Oh,
questionnaire
yeah, no,
before
that's
the
worse.
event.
That's way worse.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, a little questionnaire pre-event of everyone's answers of like, how did you meet X, Y, or Z? So, you know, so the crew know little
Mhm.
tidbits and stuff, and they'll
Yeah.
drop it in. Oh man,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll give
this
each
would be
other's answers.
like,
Oh,
this would
fuck,
be
this.
perfect for ILAP.
But also, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually maybe the way to
Yeah,
go. But also,
100%.
but have you considered not
You
knowing
can
what's
do it,
happening is one
ILAP, but
thing,
I want a free
but
ticket because I'm too poor to go.
oh
Yeah.
great.
Deal.
But
Yeah,
like
deal.
the idea of not knowing it could happen at all
Mhm.
is even worse. But how'd you get people on board? Yeah, but whatever. I love this. I love this. It's got so many legs. It's got too many legs.
It's got a perfect amount of legs,
It's got
but
just as many legs as you've got. What are you talking about? You always had this many legs.
Oh, look down! You are a too many-legged zombie. Oh, fuck.
Mm.
Terrifying.
man, PD should have hired us to do this. Like, I mean,
And then.
yeah, because on one hand, the big reveal in this of those heirs of Terranale becoming part of a herald and still
Mhm.
technically being alive, sorry, being alive for that process, proves that we can fuse the human soul with a herald, with another being, which
Oh, the
raises a
research
lot of
nerd's gonna have
questions.
to.
Do you know what? Sorry, one thing about that horrific thing we've just described. Do you know what would be great? If it was a player event
Not
specifically for
being a victim of
No,
it.
it would be a player event specifically for your characters that have died, like past characters. And there were certain ways you could increase your chances to survive if you did something specifically virtuous, and we just called it the labyrinth. How fucky would that be?
My brain hurts.
Oh, because I suppose, or even
Because obviously, like, you couldn't have it sanctioned because, like, you know, we have no clue what the
Oh,
labyrinth is, but that would just be so funny if the other people would be like, what? This is what happened? I thought I would go somewhere calm and I died.
actually,
Yeah.
I would love to host like a player event for like characters who are like dead, but it's just like a dinner party or some shit like
Mm,
that, like in like dinner
yeah.
party in the labyrinth or some nonsense.
oh, that'd be cute.
Yeah, right.
But you've got your injuries, if any, that led to your
Yeah,
demise. So my head would just
and
be on the table.
yeah, and you just be talk. Yeah, you could do that illusion thing where you have a little hole in the bottom of the table, and you could just sit there the whole time heckling
And we'll just
everyone.
get you a fake body
Yeah,
to sit in the chair.
yeah. I'm just sat there cramping underneath this camp table, like, please feed me. I have no arms.
I have no arms and I
My
must
body is
scratch.
useless.
That would be a really cool. That would be less emotionally exhausting as well, because I'm still sat here reeling from the idea of running through the Ilarp forest,
Oh,
and
yeah.
especially like having areas to go to and clear. So you'd have, typical druge and stuff like that to clear out, standard combat, so you actually spend time with your friends. But just the threat of, yeah, it might only be once or twice across the whole weekend, with the mycelium
Yeah.
getting one of you for a little bit, or copying when your party's split in two, especially forcing you to areas of like really high density of trees and
There's
shrubbery. So there's lots of line of sight
there's
breaking.
a game and don't remember what it's called. It might be called like roll call or something, where you're in a line
Oh
and you're
yeah.
holding hands, and then like there's snatchers, and they can take the person off the end of the line, and every now and again the person at the front calls roll call, and everyone has to say their name starting from the bottom to the top. And like obviously it's freaky because they're doing it pretty silently, like you're not allowed to scream when you're taking and stuff. So at some point you might say roll call and it just goes one, and then you get snatched. But I feel like something like that would be quite fun, like the idea if you're just like stumbling around in the dark and you're calling out and you're like, who's there? And like, you know, you think that all the people responding to you are still with you, and then you turn around and they're just all there stood, like looking at you like, you're next, mate.
Like a little
Terrifying, I
semicircle
love
in
it.
a clearing. Especially when there's husks and stuff mixed in amongst them, or maybe
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they're
other.
just walking alongside because they're one of the Valorn at the minute. Oh yeah.
Or like you'd have somebody that like died, and then you might be like, "Are you okay to crew the rest of the event, or do you want to make a new character?" And if they say crew, like I'd quite happily come back with just like do barely anything, but maybe put on like cosmetic contacts and make my eyes brown instead of green,
Mm.
and just see how long it takes people to notice this tiny thing about me. Because loads of people wouldn't know your eye color. Like there's so many of my LARP friends, I don't know their eye colors, but your brain would be like, something's wrong, something's not right.
Or maybe like a little black vein just ever so slightly peeking out over a
Mm-hmm.
top or out of a sleeve or something. Just the smallest little hint.
Makeup lady does your eyebrows a little bit different, something like that.
Yeah. War
God.
paint is
I mean,
on like a different diagonal, that kind of thing.
oh yeah, your tattoos
Oh yeah, your
aren't.
tattoos are just gone.
Oh my god, if you
Yeah.
had like a warband that had like disappeared the week before and they come back but all their tattoos are gone. Like
Oh
not
yeah.
even slightly, like that would be an obvious one, but it's like they've come back and either it's a case of
Was
they
it war
broke,
paint or a tattoo? Wait a
but that's the
second.
thing, they
Yeah.
could even be that they do come back. You'd have to have some come back genuinely right so that you didn't just insta kill anyone that you know is dead.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You'd have to have some people come back with nothing wrong with them, but maybe they like broke their oaths whilst they were being controlled, so they lose certain tattoos. Like if you
Or
know, like if
they
you're a
just
brand.
unburdened. They were convinced to unburden like the tattoos. Oh no, no, Chris, you mentioned the Ilap Woods, and I one of my second ever LARP that my first non-Empire LARP was Gulag. The
Oh yeah.
fucking
Oh man, I'm so
January.
bummed out I didn't go
You were
to
gonna
that.
come with
Yeah, I had my kit and everything.
you
I
had
just
your
didn't
yeah,
go.
your ticket, and then I was literally in the car park like, dude, where are you? I like I don't like know anyone well, but I found a good group and I just got right into it. It was terrifying. Like they bundle you in a van, put you off into the woods, and say the camp is that way. Good luck. And it's like January and
Hmm.
I want to
terrifying.
play them so bad. Like I just at the moment financially I can't really handle any more than just Empire, but I've only played Empire and I have so many ideas, even just for like, as you can tell, I get very into my ideas and I'm like, I just need to play different systems and different games. And so that's like my goal for the next bit.
Mm.
That's what I'm saving my money
Well,
for, is I need to go somewhere else.
unfortunately, at this point, I think Gulag's been cancelled now. I
Yeah.
don't think I'm doing any more, so that's Oh, but we did I mean back to Empire. When we hosted Quiet Glades and Theranin.
Yeah, that was
Um
awesome.
we did a really good job with the pat ourselves on the back with the Valorn husks in the long grass.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've heard
The
people talk about that.
players were terrified of that. Like it was kind of funny on a nosy level because they were so scared that they were whispering all their calls. And of course, the rules of the game, your calls have to be heard within a 10 feet. So if you're whispering cleave and whispering execute, that doesn't count. So like they were too scared to like do their OC calls loud enough. So it's like, well, you're playing the game, like you're breaking the rules, so we're gonna have to ignore that call.
Yeah, and
God,
Sol
that was
came
good.
round to us because Sol was
Oh
kind of
yeah.
running. He was like, right, stop. They're getting overwhelmed. And it was probably a 1-to-1 ratio. If anything, the heroes had more on side. And because it was dark and spooky and scary, and people were getting dragged into this
Felt like way
maybe
more.
meter
Yeah.
high grass, and because we'd go down, people wouldn't execute us like Finn said, and then we'd just sit back up again.
Get back up again.
Yeah,
Oh,
and we had to
terrifying.
stop
And like
attacking them because we were just overrunning them. We're gonna have a
I was
TPK.
monstering and I had the heebie-jeebies. Like it was.
Yeah,
Oh
the moon was all out, but it was really, really foggy and cloudy, and it was the right time to be
yeah.
the bad guy. When we
I
went
would.
into the woods, I had the death whistle.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
felt great.
you were so mean when you were just outside of the camp and you just blew it, and half of the campers just reached for their weapons, terrified of how much you like conditioned them to fear the whistle. You
Yeah,
jerk.
I would just
Fear the
go
whistle.
behind like 1 or 2 husks who had respawned and blow the whistle, and then 2 husks would walk out. So my Pavlov dogs are going, ah, yes, whistle equals husks. But then I would walk around behind them, blow it, but there would be no husks, and then they would start to freak out. And I managed to do a whole 360 on them, and by the end of it, they were just in the terrified huddle in this field.
I
That
think
was good. good moments.
I would love to. I mean, we've you didn't hear anywhere, but we've had murmurs for Quiet Glade 2 and whatever. But I kind of want to lean heavy into the horror, like, because it wasn't actually as
Like
we
a
didn't
high
plan.
combat event and a
Yeah,
horror event are
we didn't
different.
plan for it to be as high combat and horrifying, but it kind of ended up being both a lot more. So I'd love to just lean into it this time and like proper like, oh, it's gonna be creepy, it's gonna be weird, and see what we can get away with.
Yeah, but Merlin's
And
idea has
maybe,
got me. I'm sat here
yeah,
on
yeah,
my
yeah.
phone typing up the cliff notes. Like, this is fucking gold. Because
At
basically,
least, hey, we've got it recorded. So
we do,
there we
we
go.
do. Oh man. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
Empire.
the
I don't know what
Broceliande.
else to add really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this was about to go
yeah,
about Broceliande.
that's
Here
Oh,
what
we
we
go.
faced. Yeah.
actually, and I was gonna just offhand say, yeah, the because the don't like everyone should make the option that makes the most sense for their character. But sometimes there's a bit of a conflict, like, oh, but with my character this, but me as a player, would I enjoy this more? Maybe you as a player should trump it. But like, it's like yeah, in Black Sky we're having a little bit of a internal like, oh, but should we do? Oh, do you want to? Do I want to do this or do I want to do this? And people being conflicted about it. So, like, for example, I was like, I've solidified I want to do this choice, but if for roleplay purposes, I could roleplay it as we were on our way to do this option, but then I very heroically got gruesomely wounded and you had to carry me back to safety, and then you missed out on this opportunity, so you did
Yeah.
this one instead. um like, you can make the role play fit your choice, like, do what's good for you, but also there's no wrong choice. Like, if you're
Yeah.
if,
Well,
if
that's what.
everyone's going with the role play option, for example, do it. Like, like, none of
Yeah.
it's real.
That's like
It's
for
all
me as well.
pretend.
Like with like the mana site, obviously there's no law saying that that needs to be 100% manned by you all the time. So I'm like, roleplay wise, I can be off doing these other things whilst my mana site's ticking away. The only thing that makes any difference is the resource and my inventory. And at the end of the day, like I can just be like, oh yeah, I was really focused on the healing, or you know. So I always find that there's always a way to find a happy medium.
Mm.
Hmm.
And if I had to pick a side, I would agree with you, Finn, that what you're going to enjoy most should trump it. But I think as long as you're not sat there going, right, three of us will take
Oh yeah,
the
no,
the
Yeah.
heart, so we get all of the information, and then we'll
Yeah,
take
no min
Weirwoods.
maxing, please.
for a
Yeah.
moment, yeah, like I've seen in a couple of servers, like I've seen a conversation steer towards something, and I just had to be like, no, don't worry about it. Just it's not real. It's a game.
Yeah.
Choose whichever one sounds more
Trying
fun
to
for you.
win.
Mm,
You can't win at LARP. You can have winning moments, but you don't win it, so stop trying to win.
that's true. Yeah. Even if you do last forever, the game system will end one day, just like Odyssey did. And
But also, surviving isn't always winning. Like, just being there for all of it doesn't mean you had the best time you could have the whole time.
oh yeah, 100%. Gold plate that quote. Survival is not winning.
Wait,
Man.
that's in Wally, the I don't want to survive, I want to live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that
wow.
is true though, because I know so many people like, yeah, no, I'm all right, can't complain. And then they tell me about their life, and I was like, no, you can complain if you're having an awful time. The fact that you're not dead or like right on the verge of it does not mean that you have to be happy with what you're at, and it doesn't mean that you can't want to change it as well. Because I know some people are like, yeah, I like my character. I don't really want to like retire them, but I kind of wish I was doing this. I was like, go do it then. If you're liking your character, there's never really too late to change what your character does. If you
Well, see,
really want to keep them, just let them have an epiphany. They're like, oh, well, it's not really what my character would do. I'm like, are you still enjoying doing what that character would do? Because if you're not, they can have an epiphany. They can have a nightmare where they wake up in cold sweats and go, what am I doing with my life?
that's
Like,
one of the things I
it's
like being
okay.
about
And never touch
being a
mushrooms
guide.
again.
Like, being a guide though, you can, if you're doing the guidance part of it, you can very much lean into that. Okay, so you as a player want to do this, but you're having some dissonance with your character choices on an OC level. Let's bring this IC, and I'll bring an agenda of getting your character to line with your player, and like, let's just feel it out, see what becomes fun. Like, we'll make it work. Like, you can always change your mind.
I just realised when we're talking about the big A in the other episode,
Oh yeah.
We did not talk about, was it the Dreamwalkers or the Dream Speakers or Weavers, the new archetype
Oh,
Yeah.
for Navarre?
so that I feel like I almost
At
don't want
all.
to touch it. Well,
I
because
like that one.
it to me it they very much talk about guiding people through the great dance. I was just like, wait, that's just a different way of being
Here's
a
the thing
guide.
is, it is got similar aspects to the guide, and if I was head of what is and isn't on the Navarre wiki, I'd delete guide and just let Dream Speakers be there.
No, fair
Because
enough.
I don't think guide. Well, no, I think guide is a good one. I don't think the relation to dream speakers to guides is really all that accurate because it's all more about unpicking what you already know and what you're already thinking.
Mm.
But I would remove the guide priest
Oh,
connection.
that one sentence that says the priests of Navarre
The
are called
first
guide.
one, yeah, it's
Yeah,
stupid.
yeah.
And then
It's
really
puts you in
focus
a box
in,
immediately and doesn't let you focus on
yeah,
what it's
really
supposed to be.
focus in on the guiding on the one, and then the sort of trauma unmuddling, the sort of
Mm.
psychiatrist or
But
therapist
the but
guiding.
with the dream speakers though, I think that it becomes an archetype once the city of dreams is built.
Yeah.
We've had a vote on what to do with Saren, but the senators could just say, we're going to commission the City of Laos and just fund it and build it. Like, there's no guarantee that we're going to have the Dream Speakers as a viable archetype just yet. Like, we voted on it, so, it's on the horizon, but we could pivot again, we could never build
But it is nice to see
Saren.
as well,
But it's
like
nice
it
to see, yeah,
actually
yeah.
being done as well. Like seeing people do it on the field is good.
Mm,
Um, and yeah, it's one that it has a lot of game and it has a lot of like practical, visible, tangible game, which I'm really liking seeing, as opposed to like, oh, what people have been doing for ages and ages and ages could be defined as this. It's like
yeah.
this different thing that you're seeing is because of this archetype, which should be how it is. Like it feels different, it feels new, it feels like it has an identity. So I'm quite excited about it personally.
Mm.
Also, one of the main dream speakers is my dead IC parent that's come to Navarre to be with me, and I'm very happy, so I'm a bit biased.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, was she the one who spoke at Standing?
Yeah,
Oh, the one with
they.
the coat of dreams,
Yeah,
or...
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they are.
gotcha. Nice. Oh, it's such a little. It's every time someone says something about character X, Y, or Z, I'm like, oh, you mean that person? It's a nice little community. It feels it's. I mean, Navarre itself is what 300-400 players. I don't feel like
Yeah,
I know more than
Navarre is
20 of them.
pretty big. Like
Mm.
for ages, it was ha ha ha, Wintermark's big, and now it's like, yeah, Navarre's the second biggest, and it's not that far out.
Mm. Especially after a lot of Wintermark. I wonder how the numbers look now actually,
Oh
Mm.
because
yeah, I feel like I
Wintermark had a
keep
big exodus.
adopting. I feel like I keep adopting winter markers and convincing them to come join Navarre.
Mm.
Like every other game I do, I befriend someone from the winter mark,
I think
and then the
Navarre
next
is
event.
one of the easiest nations to settle into.
Mm,
But a lot of the other nations, like they're really great once you're in there, but a lot of people are like, right, and now for my next character, I'm moving to blah blah blah. The most people I know that are really like, I'm in this nation, and my next character's in this nation, and my next character's in this nation is Navarre. They're all like, I can't see anything happening that's going to make me want to change nation.
Mm.
Or they're like, maybe I will, but in like 3 characters time.
see, I'd like to try other things, but Navarre just keeps being like, well,
It's
I mean, I'm
so
still on
good. It's
the
just so
my current character's
good.
also
There's
good.
so much in
Like I
there.
really want to give the Marchers or Varushka a go,
Mm.
but I feel like I'm gonna do that, make a big kit, and then I'm gonna transfer back to Navarre. Like I just love it so much.
Would you have a hail that say your character died? Would you go to Varishka and even if you had to solo it, would you Hail Mary and see if you could get yourself killed in an event and just try and live the maximum Varishka life and then go
Oh,
right?
so I have so many heretical dreams and plans, and I feel like I'd just try and speedrun it, you know? Like I want to play a chill heretic character that does it slowly and friendly in a way where it's not really a problem. But I also want to speedrun everything I would do with that character in like one event and see how quickly I can get executed.
I
Are you
see
a
now.
pu-
Suddenly, I have the idea of. So we said earlier, the heirs of True Nail, they've been kind of written out of the plot now. surely one could just roll a character who just preaches the tenets of the heir to Tarunale, see how
They'll
long
be
it
like, they're
takes.
dead. I'm like, oh, well, biologically, I'm not an heir of Taruniel, but I'm like the heir
Oh,
to an heir of
no.
Taruniel,
Okay, this
so...
was there was this one thing that I just remember like seeing someone being like, yeah, these aren't the heirs to Tarunale. Tarunale's dead, and it's just like, yeah, but that's why they're the heirs.
Heirs,
Like
not the
that's
current inhabitants of
yeah,
Taruniel.
like that's what inheritance is. However, the heir to the heirs of Tarunale.
Like this is an OC podcast, so anybody taking the
Yeah.
answer to this question, I'm looking at you at home, um, or traveling or wherever you are. You can't get out on a technicality. Merlyn, are you a purity cultist?
What?
Okay,
Where's
no,
that from?
no, that's fine. No, it's just
No, I'm not. My next character has some interesting... Basically, I decided to make a really cinnamon roll heretic, and I'm not going to try and cover up an over
I
my
love that
heresy. So
reference so much.
it's fine if anyone here, can't quite keep their metagaming to themselves, because that's kind of fine. If you ask me directly, I will tell you directly as that character anyway, so it's fine. Otherwise, if I really wanted no one to know, I wouldn't say anything, because metagaming is hard for some people to stop.
Yep. Oh yes.
Naming no names except for the people who know who they are. Um,
Oh.
but I want to be like a nature cultist, and I'm gonna have like a whole ass nature shrine right outside my tent, and I'm just gonna start chill, right? Like it's a little spiral of pine cones, and it's fine. And I'm just happy-go-lucky, and I bake things, and it's okay. And then like a couple of events later, there's like a deer skull and a blood of bowl on the shrine next to the pine cones, and having like a chat to a squirrel in the tree has become like chanting to the old gods of the forest, but still happy go lucky and friendly and not trying to convince anyone else to agree with me, which I feel like is the big one. As soon as you're taking priest skills or you're trying to convert people, it becomes a big problem. But the thing is, I have quite a lot of people in like my Thornborn that are very anti heresy, be they the champions of vigilance or wise guides that preach a lot of wisdom.
Oh yeah,
But
I
I
know.
just
Yep.
don't think they will notice. I just don't. And I think by the time they will notice, at least the wise guide is corruptible enough that she probably will not bother very hard, as long as I'm not doing anything with it. But that's the thing, I just want to know what happens. If you're genuinely so nice and you don't actually do anything that's actively wrong, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not dedicating anyone, I'm not doing anything like that. I'm not even a priest, so it's not even like I could if I wanted to. Just bumbling along. I know people will probably try and inquisit and execute me, but what for? Like, I want to know what the charges are going to be. Because I'm like, okay, but what have I done? I made flapjack for everyone. Kill me. Go on then.
Don't say that to the militia. They will oblige.
No, I know, but do you know what I mean? I'm like,
But
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
that they'll probably end up dead, but I just want to know how long it's going to take, basically.
Mm. And that is the fun part. It can be very quick. It could feel like
Hmm.
you've gotten away with it scot-free, and then boom,
Damn.
they catch you. Or in
Yeah.
Ben Tadbar, I mentioned him in the previous episode.
Oh yeah.
He beheaded one of my characters on the battlefield. To be fair to him, with good cause, because I'd already
Oh
bled
yeah.
out. The Druge
Yeah.
handed me, basically tortured me on the front line and handed me back. And I'd been terminal for the last 5 minutes. But I decided to scream, "We're all going to die here. It's hopeless." And then Senator Rizet Dancewalker turns to Tadpole and goes, Tadpole, sometimes brands have to make the hardest of decisions. And he just walks off. And Ben translates this to, "You have to kill him."
Kill him now.
So he puts me up against a tree in front of 20 witnesses, one of which is a militia member, and then proceeds to lop off my head. And that's it.
Nice.
That's it for El Bandito. And it took him
El Bandito was the character I returned to Empire for. Kinda. So I had my first event and I met you lot on Blackscar and like we vibed and stuff and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I'll come back. And then when I came back, I was like, oh, maybe I'll try to find that Blackscar bunch. And then I just saw you walking out from like somewhere on the Friday morning. Like, oh, it's you bunch. And you were like, wait, who are you again? And I just like put my fingers to my head and you're like, ah, yes. And like I had like a shit little like sheriff badge from like a Halloween costume.
Yes,
I was like,
yes,
I
you
want to
did.
give this to El Bandito to be El Sharifo.
Yeah, and I walked up and
I'll
down
show
Dies.
you
Murder
how
Alley
well
with that
teach
thing.
her.
Yeah. saying I was a sheriff, and everyone just half the people believed me, just no questions asked. Like, oh, you
But that is my
deputized. Yeah.
thing. I think a lot of the time it depends how you play it because Aisha's not a
Confidence
purity
scams.
cultist, but she 100% does not believe in the virtues, doesn't follow the way. And people have asked her that, and she's like, I don't understand it, and I don't really believe it. And it just gets left there every time. Like, because I'm not saying I believe something else instead, people are just like, maybe don't tell guides that, but that's about it. And I'm like, okay, so if you do believe something else, but you don't do anything about it for the first couple sessions, does anything happen? And then if you do believe something else, and you do something about it, but it doesn't affect anyone else, do you know what I mean? I want to know where the line is, where it's a real big problem. I think it's less to do with what you do and more to do with who you do it in front of, but we shall see.
See, I had an early plan, which I've scrapped for any of those metagamers listening. But I had an early plan for Riffle to be like a comic book villain who wants to turn the whole world into Cambions. Because the Empire will get shit done if we're all Cambions, like purity cultists from that perspective. But then it just seems like so much work. I was like, nah, can't be
Yeah.
bothered. I'll still think Cambions are the best, but not get along with room with them.
Yeah, that's fair.
That would be interesting actually, because Highguard is anti-lineage, to
Yeah.
paraphrase, but there's no nation that's pro-lineage. Everyone else is, we don't really mind. But it would be intriguing if there was a nation that was basically made up of lineaged humans, and being unlineaged in them was quite rare.
Yeah, and they like worked to like give them like boons from Eternals and stuff to. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, screw it. Maybe I will go back into the idea of being a lineage.
What have I done? But
Is it
yeah.
true that, like, is it Urizen and Brass Coast which seem to have like a lineage children exchange program? They're like, we'll have the
Yeah,
Merrows and you have the Campions.
it's the oh, was it? Yeah, the lineage
Because
and species
Urizens are
attributes
like, the
pages.
Campions are
Yeah,
way too much for up here, and a
I thought
load
it
of
was
the
the
Brass Coast Merrows are like, oh yeah, you just trot along then.
I thought it was the Briars. Oh no, the Briars go to Wintermark. Wintermark, they like Briars are like, oh yeah, you got bark on the skin. You're a good hardy friend. I think that's their mindset. So like, yeah,
But I
I
do
know.
find it funny how a lot of the nations have like their preferred of the lineaged. They're like, oh yeah, no, we Cambions do really well in the Brass Coast, and so goes there, and like, I'm glad it's not absolute, but it is quite funny to see those kind of trends.
Yeah, like it's it's like the kind of positive, like affirming roleplay end of the lineage and species attitudes pages, because
Yeah.
some of them are quite like, oh, these are seen as distasteful in
Oh,
this
the High
nation,
Guard saw their horns
or a
off in
high guard,
disgust.
yeah,
Yeah.
that in. But then sometimes it's like, oh, they love these guys. And it's like, oh yeah, like lean into that. Like, yes, I'm
Because I
better
think
than you.
there's some line in the bit that's talking about it, and it's like, are often sent to the Brass Coast because it's thought generally that they'll have a better quality of life around people with more pep in their step or something like that.
Mm,
And it's basically just like, yeah, it just matches the vibes a bit better.
it does. I think I saw a player event. One of the Highguard members cut off their own horns.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
unveiled.
yeah.
Yeah.
That. I was like, I was quite new at this point, and I was like, oh my god,
Oh,
what the
there's
hell are you doing? That was
like
shocking.
there's some like I was saying earlier, I love a body horror. There was there's some friends of mine who are planning on joining High Guard who have said some like they want to do some unveiling and play a high lineage character, and this is the gruesome stuff they're gonna do to themselves to like unveil. And I'm like, yes, this is, and like I kind of don't want to like say it here and now in case like it's like their unique idea and
Mhm.
someone else can, but like, oh, there's some good gruesome like stuff out there you can do that I haven't seen yet, and I'm excited for this friend to play this new character, for example.
And let's not forget the huge influx of priors we're absolutely going to get in the VAR after this
Yeah.
this Wind of Fortune. Wind of
Oh,
War, sorry. Sorry, I was just bringing the trail. I mean the railroad. We went off the direct
We
route
did
and we
go
took the
very off
scenic one.
topic.
oh yeah, no,
But
you asked us what's our favorite kind of horror, and
yeah,
yeah,
I know.
we've never come back since.
We've taken the scenic route, and what a view it has been. It's been fantastic. But we're gonna get this train back on the main track because I have some I have some fruit-related questions. So,
Yes.
will you be consuming the chaos fruit?
I'm gonna feed it to someone else like Lindia first.
Why?
Um,
Like,
because
when you say
you're
like Linda, do you just mean Linda?
you're like I was saying with the with the weird shadow creature. Like you're my little guinea pig. It's fine. I'll patch you up if you need it, but like, you first. Love you,
I
bud.
want to know if so the party potato and the idea that it had to be like surgically put in their stomach because if you chopped it up in any way it would like break the enchantment or the hallowing or whatever. I want to know if you make these chaos fruits into like a smoothie bowl, does
Oh,
it
how
have a
many
different effect and can you like
doses of
split it
effect?
between people? I obviously am like mechanically I don't have any chaos fruits, but if anyone tries to feed me them, yes, I will 100% eat one.
Can I for a moment the party potato?
Yeah,
Okay,
what is
so
the party potato? I've heard of the pride apple,
it
but
was it
not
was
this potato.
I think it was Chris Trott from when they were talking about one of their um LARP things with the Mark Humes thing, and they were saying that they had a potato that someone hallowed as Trott's party potato.
Right.
And so basically just gave party atmospheres, and they were like, "Oh, I'm going to eat it, and then I'll be hallowed." But somebody had told them, obviously, like if you eat it,
You destroy the
you break it.
Mm,
So they were trying to find a healer to cut them open and surgically put it in their stomach, and then sew them back up so they could eat it without the hallowing disappearing.
that is metal.
I don't know if that happened, but
gorgeous.
yeah, that's what I heard of.
Well, now I know what I'm doing with my E1.
I think they should have made it into party chips, really, but there we go. Again, it would have broken the effects.
There is, it does mention in the actual wind about planting them as well.
Oh, that's a
Yes,
good
So,
point.
that's a very fun and controversial thing, of course, because it very explicitly says that it's like fragments of Valorn magic,
yeah,
and of course,
planting it
Can
in a
you
cultivating Valorn
darkness.
imagine if we
cultivating Valorn is
planted
a
loads of
crime,
them?
and yeah, it's recognized as a crime, and of course, the Synod's going to have some conversations. So I'm ready for them to talk
Do you know
about
what we
it.
need? We need an unsanctioned player event where a bunch of people illegally plant them and it springs up a mysterious 100-year-old forest overnight that's full of weird mycelium people that look just like you. Yeah.
Yep,
Full
great. We
circle
found the
back into
lore.
the.
Origin
Yeah,
story.
We've come off the rails again. Here we go.
the train is just
We won't go
shaking
far
side to
this way.
side. Yeah, that's great. We've got the origin story now for the forest, and the reason our heroes are there is because another unit has gone missing, and we're there to find them. And then who do we find within? That's the real question.
Oh, you know what? I think I have been to a player event that was like unsanctioned. Like it started off sanctioned, and then some plot points were a bit
They were
too
like,
much, and so PD like rolled it back. Like it was a shared dream. Please don't refer to this ever again.
We had
So if we just start it with "It's a weird dream," don't even worry.
yeah, you're all gonna wake up full of less magical soup, and we'll never talk about it again. I
Yep.
think we heard from Matt P because you have to, with getting things sanctioned, you have to talk to him about the plot line, and
Yeah,
we were a bit nervous about some of ours, and he went, "Oh no, that's fine. As long as it's effectively you're not doing something that would bring a magical laser and destroy a whole territory, then you're pretty much good to go. As long as it's local." I think ours ended up being some heirs of Terranale casting Merciless Wrath of the Reaver on their
yeah.
own military units, which just made them a bit more powerful, and that was it. It
And then
meant
we
they
kind of
got.
ended up with that. Oh, go on.
I was going to say they got more done in the Wind of Fortune because of it, because of that
Oh,
event.
did they actually? I
Yeah,
actually don't know if we
because
affected that or not, but
I
I do
think we did,
remember
because they
I
managed to
felt
get it
so
off
bad.
with a Ring of Ilium.
Yeah, I don't. I think you need the number of ilium and the magnitude. There may be some mass involved, so I'm not entirely sure how effective it was.
Yeah,
But like,
but it had a
yeah,
little
oh,
sprinkle, little salt bay.
I felt so bad like crewing that. Like yeah, we pulled off so many rituals and we never saw the players, and I was like, have we like balanced this too badly? um, but yeah, because then they even had the plot with the family, which was kind of spur of the moment, to be honest, as far as I'm aware, when like this Striding joined the Azatrunail and also got Merciless Wrath of the Reaver cast on them. Oh, it was a good event.
Yeah, that was great. My second question around the chaos fruits.
Hmm.
Do either of you anticipate a Vine run recovery service for fruit addicts?
It depends on the symptoms of the addiction, I suppose.
I was just gonna say no. Like let them eat fruit.
I think it
See what
depends.
happens.
If
Mike.
if it's just because they keep choosing to eat it, then like no, I'm not wasting my resources on you. Um, it depends. If it has like this unforeseen chaotic medical effect, then like yeah, I want in on that role play, and also yeah, I'm not gonna leave you like that. But I do see quite a lot of vines trying to find one to mess around with.
Yeah,
Like I think you're
baby.
over anticipating our general wisdom. I think we'll just be like,
Gotcha.
we want to poke the fruits too.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
laying a claim to starting them. You know where this is going.
yeah, yeah.
I'm imagining
But
a
yeah,
like a
if there is like a big medical thing, then I feel like yeah, probably we tend to fix a lot of people. But also there'll probably be some fruit addicts within the vines as well.
fantastic. I'm looking forward to an urchin sat at the side of the road just begging for fruit.
Any fruit?
And
Oh,
you drop an orange in front of them, and they're like, "Not that shit, the good stuff, the good stuff. I needs it."
oh,
I need chaos.
Yeah,
it's the fact that they put the word chaos in front of something in front of
yeah,
a bunch of rappers. Like
yeah.
it's which is actually a really fun thing about like the way and the virtue stuff because chaos is directly linked to anarchy, also known as freedom. Blah blah blah, heresy. So like whenever people are like chaos in game, I'm a tiny like I almost cringe a little bit because it's like no, that sounds like heresy. One second, what are you doing there?
Are you trying
Is
to
that what
tell me,
they?
Finn, that
Uh huh.
eating the fruit we picked up in the big garden full of death worms and mycelium
That's full of
was
and
Forlorn magic.
heretics
whoa?
who are screaming at you to join them.
And you're saying me to eat this is not a good idea? Interesting.
No, I couldn't be.
Sounds like lies, personally.
Yeah,
It would be a bad idea for me to eat it, but please go ahead. I want to watch what happens.
yeah.
Now I'll just start this stepwatch and you take a bite. Cool.
Because,
Okay, let's go.
like, so I said earlier I've chosen the fruit because I'm interested. But one of the reasons, and dearest listeners, don't let it like sway you towards it unless you do want to. But the idea that if this does go somewhere, I'm in on it. Like,
You've got the
I've
fruit.
I've put all my chips on 13, baby.
All
Like that.
my weird golden eggs are in this basket.
All
I
my
have chased
shiny
down this shiny egg.
Yeah, that's one of the tenets of ambition. Chase that shiny. I'm a guide of ambition, and I'm telling you to chase it.
Fantastic. Well, I have a lot of food for thought now, and I don't like that pun. I don't like it at all. I don't like it at
Podcast of the
all.
year.
Ugh, yeah, down the
I'm
toilet
gonna
that
nominate
goes.
you at the LARP Awards 2024,
Please, please, for the love of God, do not, because
and
this
that's
is
gonna be
Everyone I
that's gonna
know
be
who doesn't even go to LARP to
that's
just vote.
gonna be the snippet they use in the little highlight reel and everything, and the
yeah.
audience goes ah.
Chase the egg, food for thought, chaos fruit.
Have we ended both of
Oh,
them with the egg comments?
We
Because the
have.
last one was like, and on that eggshell, not
and
on shell.
what I feel like did I don't know what I feel like.
Just the sigh
Like
says it all.
it's
Oh.
listening to this podcast. It's not recommended for your health.
It's just got it's just got an actual
Inadvisable.
warning. Yeah. Do not take more than 4 times a day, or will cause liver damage. Yeah. On unrelated note, I was out in America a few weeks ago
Mhm.
and had a cold, so I went to like an American air quote pharmacy. It's just a store, like a
Yeah.
regular convenience store with a gigantic pharmacy section, and got some cough medicine. And I had a couple tablets, and I looked at the packet like, how many can I take? And it said, do not take more than 4 a day, or you will get severe liver damage. And I was like, wow, not having
But
these
all of
anymore.
their like soft medicines in America are just mad because all my American friends are like, your cough, like your cold and flu stuff does nothing. And I'm like, yeah, it's just to take the edge off. Or they'll be like, your painkillers don't do anything. I'm like, well, they're not supposed to completely stop pain all the time. It's just to make it manageable. And they're like, oh no, 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 no. It's not worth it.
Yeah. all the other warnings like risk of blindness and stuff like that. And I'm like,
Mhm.
this is cough medicine. What the hell?
Cough them out.
Oh my god, you're right.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good fun idea. Oh, okay. So my mycelium friend starts coughing and their eyes come out. Eh.
Oh,
And on that eye-opening revelation, we'll end today's episode there. Both of you, thank you so
Revelation.
much for coming on and doing 2 episodes back to back.
you're
What
very
a
welcome.
you
what
for
an
having
achievement.
us.
Having us.
Yeah.
It's been a delight.
And for those of you listening at home, if you steal our idea, I'm saying our, Merlyn's idea of the mycelium, we will come for you and we will
Yep.
pull out your eyes.
And then change the colour of them and put you back in bed with your partner.
Yes.
But you're just a little bit wrong.
But it's
A little bit
non-canon, so
different.
it's non-canon. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Ooh. All right. Bye.
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 Bye.